Good afternoon. How y'all doing tonight? It is Tuesday and it is your girl, B. Valise, coming to you live with Tried and True Financial Services, where our core mission is to help entrepreneurs with the ABCs of finance to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. Today, we are coming to you live. It's Tax Tip Tuesday with another nugget, some things that we've been seeing out in the industry and some things that we're receiving in our inbox that we feel like is important information that we can share with you, news you can use to kind of help lighten the load when it comes to taxes, tax filings, dealing with the IRS. We understand and know that there is some level of anxiety, some angst, some fear, whatever it is you classify it as. I understand and know, and that's what we're here to do, where we come to you live each and every week to share some things with you on this segment of Tax Tip Tuesday. Come on in, make sure you come in and say hello. Let me know that you're hanging out with me for a little while in the chat. As I always say, I am an emoji girl and I love emojis. So make sure you drop me some emojis in the chat. Make sure that I'm feeling the love in the comments, and make sure that I know that you're present, and make sure I can hear you. I need to know, that you can hear me. I need to know that you're tracking with me as I'm here. Sometimes we have technical issues. Technology is not necessarily always kind to us. So I want to make sure that you can hear this critical information that I am going to share with you on today. And today's topic, we're just really want to talk to you about, oh my God, I got a letter from the IRS in the mail. What should I do? What should I do? I don't know what to do. Well, I'm going to tell you what not to do. First of all, do not take that letter and sit it to the side. Do not take that letter and put it at the bottom of the pile. Do not take that letter and file it in file cabinet number 13. Don't do that. Don't do that. Open the letter. First of all, we want to make sure that you understand and know that the best thing for you to do, and the first thing that you should do, is open the letter. You want to make sure you open the letter and read it carefully, because the letter is going to give you some specific, it's going to address a specific issue, and it's going to give you some specific instructions on what to do. Okay, so you want to open the letter and you want to open it quickly. All right. The second thing that you want to do is make sure that you go ahead and take the necessary action. Like I just said, it's going to give you some specific instructions on what it is they're requesting from you. And so you want to make sure that you understand and know that what it is they're looking for. It's a couple things they're looking for. It's two issues that they are addressing: information or money. That's it. They either want some more information from you to support your claims and deductions, or they want some more money. And I know that's the thing that you're always avoiding. You don't want to hear, you don't want that news about them wanting some more money. But the reality of it is that it's not going to disappear. It's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse if you ignore it. And the other part about it is that you have a specific amount of time in order to address it. Like if you decide, and that's tip number 3, you might want to dispute it. You may be in a position to dispute it, because guess what? As a taxpayer, we have rights. Taxpayers have rights, and we have the right to, even though it's on us to be able to support our claims, right? We have the burden of proof that we have to prove our deductions if they question it or they inquire about it. But we also have rights. Okay, we have rights to question, to dispute it. Okay, so whether that's through just answering them with a response, providing additional documentation, or whether that's appealing it. And if you don't feel comfortable responding to the letter on your own, then get some help. Right? That's what tax professionals are here for. That's what the person, and I know we're living in a day and a time where a lot of people, they do their taxes themselves. And so if you get into a situation like that and you get a notice from the IRS and you don't feel comfortable, then you want to make sure that you reach out to a trusted tax professional, number one, to maybe even read the letter and interpret it for you. Because a lot of times, let's just be real and let's just be honest. A lot of times when we receive documentation or we get news that we don't want to hear, our blinders go on. So even though your level of comprehension is adequate enough to read and understand that letter, because you don't want to deal with it and your mind is just, so far removed from it, then it just looks like another language on the paper. It looks like French or Spanish or something like that. Right. And so you don't want to deal with it. If you don't want to deal with it, then get some help, because the reality of it is that 9 times out of 10, when they send you a response to a tax filing, you only have a limited amount of time to respond. Typically, it's going to be within 30 days, maybe 60 days, maybe 90 days. But depending on the situation, you're only going to have a short amount of time. And can you guys believe we're in fourth quarter of 2022 already? I don't know where you came from, but it seemed like the pandemic just started. And here we are 2 years later, 24 months almost in. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days is not a long time, especially when life is happening and we have so many things going on. So I urge you, I implore you to make sure that if you receive something with that little IRS logo on the envelope on the outside of it, open it up and open it up quickly. Act like it's a check in there. Because here's the thing, let's talk a little bit about compound interest and the way interest accrues on IRS debt. The same way compound interest takes place in your investment accounts. Oh, we love to see it when our money is growing and growing and growing through the roof. Yeah, we love to see it then, right? Because that compound interest, it makes things grow so much quicker. It's interest on top of interest on top of interest on top of principal on top of interest on top of principal, and it's just growing and growing and growing. Well, the same thing happens if you have a tax liability with the IRS, right? That compound interest is going to continue to accrue on any unpaid tax debt until it's paid in full. So I always urge people that do whatever you can to make sure that you can eliminate that debt as soon as possible. Okay, so make sure that you, if you get a letter or get something in the mail from the IRS, open it up quickly and read it carefully. Make sure you take the requested action. Make sure that you dispute it if necessary. And disputing it means that you have all of your documentation in place that you can send them the additional documentation to support your claim. You have to prove to them that this deduction that I put on my tax return is valid. And so you're going to need to prove that through additional type of documentation that you would need to send. And then make sure, the last tip is to make sure that you keep copies of everything. Never send your original documents to the IRS. Okay. Never, ever, ever send your original documents to them. Make sure that you keep a copy or make a copy, even if it's a form that you have to fill it out and send it back. Make sure that you take a copy of that before you send it to them. And I'm coming to you with this information because this is stuff that I'm seeing happening in the industry. People get letters from the IRS and they freak out. They set it to the side. And then the next time I get a phone call, it's like, we got 2 days left. We need a little bit more time than that. And don't always assume that the IRS is correct. They make mistakes as well. And again, as taxpayers, we have rights. We have rights to support our claims, to defend our deductions, and to make sure that we fight for what we believe is right and accurate. But then we want to use the tax code, the tax law, the tax bulletins, whatever we need to use to support, in addition to support the documentation that we have in place, and make sure that we have taken adequate and valid deductions and credits on our tax returns. But don't just assume just because the IRS said this. I mean, a lot of times we know, because we know that we play with our withholdings, or we didn't send in our estimated taxes, or we didn't do the things that we know we should be doing. I advise my clients all the time that, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so it's no point in fussing and fighting with it. I understand that things might be tight and you feel like I need money now, but what you don't need is a problem with the IRS. And this is a topic for a whole nother segment. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I am going to say this. They just signed last month, or in August, it's October already. In August, they signed a new law, the Inflation Reduction Act, into law. They signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law. And there's one thing that I want to say about that. I've been listening, I've been reading up on it. But one of the things that they did is they're putting a lot of investment and resource behind beefing up their IRS agents, which, there's some assumptions that that's going to mean that they're going to be doing a lot more audits than they have been in the past, because they had not had the manpower. So I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm going to continue to say it. Make sure that you keep all of your documentation, that you're keeping adequate books and records. My business owners, you cannot afford to not have bookkeeping in place for your business, where you're generating a monthly profit and loss report. And if you're not going to pay a bookkeeper to do it, then you need to be doing it on a monthly basis, keeping track of all of your income and your expenses on a monthly basis. And at the end of that 12 months, you should have your annual numbers. You should not be scrambling in the ninth hour, the ninth inning, however you want to say it, to grab all of your documentation about what you made and what you spent out of the money that you made, what you spent money on. This is something that should be an ongoing, whether you're small, medium, whatever size business you are. If you're in the business and you're in pursuit of a profit, you need to be tracking your income and expenses. That's elementary business 101. I don't want to keep fussing with y'all about this. Put a bookkeeping system in place. Put some type of accounting system in place where you're tracking your income and your expenses ongoing. And no, your business bank account is not it. No, your merchant account, your Square account, your Shopify account, that's not it. You need to be reconciling your bank account, your merchant accounts, and all of that on a monthly basis so that you can generate a profit and loss report, so that when it's time to get your taxes done, you have a succinct system and report of producing your financials, your numbers. It's very important. It's vitally important. Okay. And so then if you get a letter from the IRS because you've been keeping up with your accounting system and you've been attaching your receipts to your transactions in the accounting system, if they send you a letter and you get caught on the carpet, then you have everything that you need for the most part. And make sure that you're meeting with your tax professional on a regular and ongoing basis. Stop hiding from this stuff. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. There's people out here in in the marketplace that's mobilized to help you with this stuff. Take the help that you need and make sure that you stay on top of it. It's critically important. It's not going away. So don't let the IRS scare you. We're not afraid of the IRS. We know how to read and interpret the tax code. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to apply it for our benefit. So make sure that you take this nugget. Don't be scared. Don't be running from the IRS. I'm here to help. Okay. So make sure that you know how to keep track of all of your income and your expenses, and make sure that you know if you get a letter from the IRS, is nothing to be afraid of, because we can handle it. We got this. All right. Again, it is Tax Tip Tuesday, and it's your girl, B. Valise, coming to you live with Tried and True Financial Services, where our core mission is helping entrepreneurs with the ABCs of finance to simplify your accounting, budgeting, and credit processes. We love you. We're here to help you. We'll see you on next week for the next segment of Tax Tip Tuesday. Make sure that you're sending in your questions, you're DMing us, and make sure that if you have questions or concerns and you have specific issues that you need to address, that you set up your free consultation over on our website at www.tryandtruefs.com. We're happy to help you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on next week. Good night.